Motorsport history. It remembers the champions, the dynasties, the cars that stayed just long enough to become legends. But GT racing, especially in the 1990s and early 2000s, was an ever-changing beast. The rules changed, factories came and went, entire categories burned bright and vanished in the blink of an eye. And in that chaos, some extraordinary machines were left behind. These are the GT cars that were fast enough, bold enough, and good enough, yet somehow never became icons. This is the forgotten lap. At its heart, the Nissan R390 GT1 wasn't really a GT car at all. It featured a 3.5 litre twin-turbo V8 descended directly from Nissan's Group C program. With a carbon fibre monocoque chassis and mid-engine placements, it was a purpose-built and ruthlessly efficient piece of engineering. By 1998, Nissan even stretched the body into a long-tail, sculpted almost entirely for one specific challenge: Le Mans, resulting in stability at speed, low drag and minimal waste. This was quite literally engineering with a stopwatch. In the 1998 24 Hours of Le Mans, Nissan entered 4 R390s. Impressively, all of them finished in the top 10, with one finishing on the podium. For Nissan, it ranked as one of their strongest ever Le Mans performances. And then, almost as suddenly, it was over. The GT1 category collapsed and the era became a footnote of motorsport history, with the R390 disappearing with it. While the competition was chasing mid-engine perfection, Panos went their own way. The single-minded Esperanti sported a front mid-mounted, naturally aspirated 6-litre V8, tuned by Roush. The nose was absolutely huge and the cockpit was shoved almost entirely against the rear axle. It was a heavy, long boy, and it was unapologetically American. The aerodynamics weren't exactly subtle or elegant either. They punched air resistance in the face and demanded downforce. And yet, somehow, it worked. The Esperanti GTR1 fought factory Porsches and Mercedes across FIA GT, Sebring and Le Mans. It didn't always win, but it refused to be ignored and boasted a dominant 98 season where it won both the Constructors and Teams Championship for the season. Most importantly, it proved something radical. There wasn't only one way to build a fast GT car. The Esperanti GTR1's design would go on to form the basis for the LMP1 Roadster S, using the same front engine layout and large nose. In fact, in 2021, a short YouTube documentary snippet confirmed that both cars shared the same chassis. Some cars are subtle, poised, sophisticated. The Lister Storm was not one of them. The Storm's engine was a monstrous 7-litre Jaguar-derived V12, filling the nose to absolute bursting points. It was front-engined with rear-wheel drive and has enough power to trigger continental drift. It also featured weight, a lot of weight. Aerodynamics were also present. However, this car was not built with delicacy in mind. At Le Mans, its own reliability was its biggest nemesis. Up against lighter GT1 machinery, the Storm often fought physics as much as its rivals. Lister didn't walk away though, they kept developing it and kept racing it, and years later, in later GT categories, the Storm won championships. In 1998, for example, the Storm claimed both the GT1 and GT2 championships in British GT. up against strong competition from the likes of McLaren F1 GTR, Porsche 911 and the Cintura S99. Often remembered for the noise, it should also be remembered for the persistence. Not every GT car was built for glory. Some were built for survival. The Venturi 600 LM ran a twin-turbo PRV V6, which was compact and punchy. It featured a mid-engine config and was exceptionally light by early 90s GT standards. The aerodynamics were honest, no Lamborghini-inspired excess or theatrics here, and put simply, this was a car designed to be run, not admired. In the BPR Global GT Series, the foundation of modern GT racing, Venturi won races. They raced at Le Mans and punched well above their weight. Unfortunately, motorsport reality caught up. The McLaren F1 had arrived, and with it, budgets absolutely exploded. The gentleman era of racing practically ended overnight. The Venturi didn't exactly fail. As is often the case, the motorsport world simply moved faster than they could. This one is slightly controversial because it is remembered, though perhaps not properly. A 6-litre naturally aspirated V12 derived from the Ferrari Enzo. It had a long wheelbase and a vast body with aerodynamics tuned for relentless, metronomic race pace. The MC12 wasn't exactly designed to fight wheel to wheel, it was purely designed to control races. And control them it did. Its trophy haul consisted of multiple FIA GT titles and multiple Spa 24-hour victories. This is one of the most dominant GT cars ever built. However, it never raced at the hallowed tarmac of Le Mans. Homologation regulations kept the door closed to the MC12, and without Le Mans, history didn't quite know where to put it. So you see, winning wasn't the problem, context was. So why then were these cars forgotten? It certainly wasn't because they weren't fast, and not many would argue that they weren't brilliant. It's simply because of this. GT racing has always lived on the edge of change. Rules are in a perpetual state of flux and priorities are ever changing. Manufacturers came and went. And when an era ends abruptly, it doesn't always take the time to say goodbye. So you see, these cars didn't exactly fail history. History simply didn't hang around long enough for them to be remembered. But if you were there, if you heard them, saw them, felt that era at full speed, you know exactly why they still matter. And if you weren't, now you know what you missed. These are the GT cars that racing forgot. Not because they didn't deserve to be icons, but because the sport never stood still long enough to let them become ones. Thank you for watching, and if you stuck around until the end, then bonus points. If you're not a follower of the channel, maybe you'd consider giving me a subscribe. I love making these for you guys, and yeah, it's really humbling when I see the views. I know this is really just a small channel and this is a bit of a hobby thing for me, but yeah, if you enjoy my nerdy car delivery, then stick around for more mini documentaries mixed with sim racing hybrid type videos. Peace, much love, over and out.